What is up, guys? This is Exhilarates, and welcome to episode 2, Sniping with Mindsets. And if you guys haven't seen the first one, I recommend you guys go into the description below and click on the link and watch the first one, and then come back to this one. And my apologies, I haven't posted the second one, the one you guys are watching now in a while. I just been busy with the other videos and things like that. But here it is. The gameplay you guys are going to be watching is the first gameplay on Magnum Free For All. It's a pretty decent gameplay, not too bad. It was actually my first time playing Free For All on that map, so I was still understanding how map control and the juicy spots and things like that. The second gameplay you guys are going to be watching is the first half of a domination game. To make sure this video isn't that long, so it's going to be around probably around 11 minutes or so, just for you guys. But aside from the gameplay itself, we're going to talk about the second episode, which is understanding your opponent, or opponents in this case. So basically what this means is you have to understand how the enemy team is playing. If they're all red gunning, if they're try-harding, if they're drop shotting, if they're jump shotting, if they're more of a laid-back players, are they more enforcer players, who's the good players on the other team, who's are the people that are kind of poopy. It's understanding how your opponents play and kind of just understanding the situation of how the game is being played. Because understanding how the game is being played and understanding how the enemy team is playing is going to help you better perform, and kind of so you can understand and kind of change the style of your gameplay to kind of correlate with theirs and to be able to obviously play better. So for example, let's just say you're playing completely a try-hard team, where like 3 or 4 of the guys are really trying, they're constantly drop shotting, jumping around. Basically, if you have a team, if you're playing against a team that's really enforcing things like that upon you, basically what you want to do is you want to play a little bit slower, because when you have try-hards on another team that are constantly enforcing things, they want to get things done. They want to play the objective. They want to constantly get you in the spawn trap. They kind of want to just clear everybody out. They want to annihilate everybody they see. So that's basically their mindset. Well, your mindset is you want to play a little bit slower, a little bit more laid back. Have them come to you rather than you trying to enforce. Because what's gonna happen is if you're trying to enforce your part against their enforcer, so if you're trying to enforce how you play against how they're obviously tryharding, that's not gonna work out, and that's maybe one of the causes why when you guys play against the tryhards, you guys constantly get really frustrated and keep dying. It's because you're trying to enforce harder. You're trying to play harder. You're trying to get to the middle of the map. You're trying to do a little more things when they're trying to do that. So, and I totally understand if your team is completely, sucks, and if they're not really able to keep up their game. So that's something else that, you can't really have no control over. But just for yourself, if the enemy team is constantly pushing you, constantly just, on your butt, basically what you want to do is you want to play a little bit slower, play a little bit slower, more calm, and let them come to you, because doing that is going to help you out, because like I said before, their entire mindset is for them to obviously enforce upon you guys and just to annihilate your team. So if you play a little bit more and a little bit smarter and kind of let them come to you, you will be able to pick them off and things like that. And just also, other than the tryhards itself, let's say for example you guys are playing people a little bit more slower, people that camp a little bit. People that camp, like I said before, you can't vary too much about people that camp, because that's just how they play. But if the enemy team is a little bit more slower, they're not really fast paced, then that's one exactly you want to do. You want to step up your game. So it's basically the opposite of what I just talked about before. If people are enforcing on you, you lay back. And now if the people aren't as forcing on you as much as they should, then you should enforce them. So by you enforcing on them is obviously basically what every sniper does. You're trying to get a feed, or trying to get a good gameplay. They want to have map control. They want to obviously enforce that against enemy players. They want to have map control, basically all the juicy spots, and basically that's how you obviously get a good gameplay, is by enforcing the enemy team to play how you want them to play. And basically, if you obviously playing domination, if you get C and B flag and spawn trap A flag, anything like that, that's basically you enforcing against another team. So that's why sometimes it's always good to play with a party, maybe a party of 4, a party of 5, because when you play with the party, you're able to tell your teammates, tell your friends, tell your buddies of yours that alright guys, we can get C and B. Don't cap A. Make sure you go here. Don't cross this line. Make sure you enforce it. Make sure nobody gets past. Doing those things also can help enforce and have map control as well. Rather than if you just play by yourself, you're playing with 5 random kids that are just roaming the map, doing absolutely whatever you want. And so that could be also another cause to your frustration. Maybe if your teammates aren't playing as more of a awareness as they should. But back onto the enforcing part. So if your enemy team is playing a little bit slower, basically you want to do is you kind of want to rush, not super rush, but you kind of want to enforce things. Obviously, by this time on Black Ops 2 or NW3, any of the older games, you guys basically know the juicy spots and basically the map control spots. And so having those map control spots and those spawn traps, and like I said before, if you're playing with a party and you guys are obviously communicating where to go and who's to be where, things like that can really help you just understand the situation and understand your opponents. Because like I said before, if you understand how the game is being played, if you understand where a certain player goes a lot, let's just say for example, you have Fat Neck Status guy. That's his gamer tag. His gamer tag is Fat Neck Status. So let's say for example, Fat Neck Status always goes on the right side of a map. He always goes there. He's always there. He's camping. He's placing the shock charges. He's doing whatever he can to kind of maintain that control of the side. If you understand that he's constantly going over there more so, just kind of be aware of that. So make sure if you're playing with the teammates, let them know that this guy's over there. He's constantly camping there. Just make sure, obviously communicating with that with your teammates, or regardless if you're playing with your friends, just obviously in game chat itself, communicating and telling your opponents or your teammates, that there's a guy over there camping, and just maybe if you can't kill him, if he keeps killing you, don't keep going there, because that's something that's I do sometimes too as well. Let's just say for example, let's jump back to the map in Nuketown. Let's say for example, someone is camping on top of the house, like upstairs in the windows, and most of you guys all know what I'm talking about, upstairs in the window. It doesn't matter what side. But let's say, obviously, a lot of people like to camp there, like to camp up there, like to put the little claymores, bouncing betties, and the doorways behind them, so nobody can obviously flank them. So if somebody's doing that, and you're coming through the middle of the map, and they keep constantly killing you, what I tend to do sometimes, like I said before, and this is not what you should do, but if they keep killing you and you keep going back and trying to kill them and they keep killing you, don't keep doing that. Avoid that window as best as possible and try to find a different route to go to get to the feeding spot or wherever you're trying to get to, because by you constantly getting killed by him and by you trying to keep killing him and him keep killing you is only going to bring more grief to you and more grief and whatever you're trying to do. So like I said, for example, just understanding that he's camping up there, maybe tell your teammates, tell someone in game chat, dude, there's someone camping on top of the building, please flank him. You go under, I can go up top, we can both get him, you can sandwich him, whatever it is. Just communicating with your buddies of yours, your friends, game chat, whatever it is. Make sure you have other ways to do it rather than trying to deal with everything by yourself, because obviously you're only one player and one player is not able to control the entire enemy team. So just by communicating with your other teammates and stuff like that and understanding the situation, don't always try to enforce it. Obviously, if he's constantly killing you, they killed you about 3 or 4 times now, don't keep going to the exact same spot and trying to kill him with a sniper or whatever the case may be. Just leave him alone. Tell your teammates, just communicate it with your other buddies of yours and have them take care of it, and so you can obviously let that kind of relax in that whole situation, just trying to find a different route, a different way to be able to avoid the window and not get shot by him. Another thing you can also can take into consideration also as well is not only understanding how the enemy team is playing, but understanding your radar, because using your radar is a really big, obviously, key help. Usually everybody looks at the radar, but just understanding where the enemy team is at. If they're over flooding your base, obviously you guys are most likely going to spawn behind them, and just understanding which side of the map the enemy team usually plays on. You do have teammates or enemy opponents that tend to sometimes they like to flood on one side of the map sometimes, just because that's how the game is being played. Like, more of the enemy team might be coming on the right side and the left side and the middle, or sometimes you play against really tough kids that basically have the entire map control. You have kids coming down from the left side, you have kids coming down from the middle and the right, so stuff like that is kind of hard, but understanding where most of the enemy team is at is a really good way too. And like I said before, obviously just using your radar, and by this time, obviously this game being out, everybody knows where the map control is, everybody kind of knows the juicy spots and where the enemy team is at. And if you don't know that by now, I really recommend you get to know where the juicy spots are and and where like the flooded spots are, because obviously just knowing where the enemy team is basically is at most of the time could help you obviously get some feeds and some gameplays, rack up some kills and things like that. So just understanding not only how your team is playing, but where the enemy team is actually at as well could obviously help you tremendously, and so you're not constantly kind of lingering and worrying where the enemy team is going to be at if you obviously don't really know. Obviously, another thing I can go a little bit of it. Obviously, this gameplay is kind of wrapping up here, but another thing you guys can also consider too is the kind of score streaks you're actually going to run. Personally, I run UAV, I run counter UAV, and then I run airstrike. Obviously, UAV is something basically average sniper should be able to run, because once you get those like little score streak, whatever how many points it is, you pop up a UAV and bam, right then and there. You can obviously use your radar and understand where the enemy team is at most of the time, and it's not very hard obviously to get UAV. And then obviously you have a counter UAV just in case you can obviously counter if the enemy team is obviously using the UAV. You can counter that to make sure they can't see where you're at. And then airstrike is basically a way to clear out, like I was talking about earlier, if the enemy team tends to be flooding a certain spot. For example, if they're flooding like a B flag and there's like 3 or 4 guys that are trying to cap it, using the airstrike will help them clear them out, help it clear out, and help your team to move up, advance throughout the obviously the map, and have better of a map control. But so basically that's all. If you guys enjoy the gameplay and the commentary stuff, please give it a like. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode 2 of Sniping Mindsets. Basically just understanding the situation, understanding how the game is being played, and just kind of understand just the entire the atmosphere of the game itself, and just really grasp it, and make sure you play the game how it should be played, and play the game how you obviously are able to play it. So if you guys enjoyed it, please give it a like. And episode 3, we should be coming out here in a few days, maybe within a week or so. I'll try to be posting more of these episodes. I know I kind of took a long break between the first and the second one. I apologize for that. So that's all, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a like, and if you guys really liked it, please give it a favorite. And see you guys later. Peace.